I play Pokemon GO. Somebody that is no longer in my life got me into playing it 2 summers ago. And I kept playing it because it made walking enjoyable. And walking for me, and for that matter, running, cardio work, has never been something that I looked forward to. But playing a game and the battling. I mean, I'm a kid from the 90s. I grew up on Tekken, Street Fighter, tournaments at people's houses. So, I mean, this type of battling, the expanse of it compared to 90s games is absurd. Go Battle League is like speed chess on steroids. It's dynamic, it's entertaining, it's frustrating, but it's also rewarding from a fun enjoyment standpoint. When you put in the work and you get results. That said, Niantic is doing everything it possibly can to destroy the enjoyment that I get out of the game. A player like me, who spends money on the game, but I'm not out there dropping 10, 15, 20. I'm not an idiot. I'm not going to buy their giant bundles. I'm not going to expand my Pokemon storage limit every week. I'm just not going to do it. I'm going to cut the fat. This company, I'm at a loss on, what have they got, some chimps working over there? Those son of a bitches eat a lot of bananas because just estimating the revenue streams that this company brings in from Pokemon GO, and from my vantage point, with little to no investment on client support, gameplay, coding, bug fixes, I've never encountered, outside of a government agency, I've never encountered a more obtuse, aloof, entitled workforce, company, whatever you want to call them. It's Niantic. No one that's making decisions there has a brain or pays attention to what's going on. Here, let me show you this, because as I stated battling before, and I know for a fact, because there's a huge contingent of people on YouTube and Discord throughout the world that take the Battle League seriously. And they just don't care because there's not enough revenue in it for them, because they extended themselves too far. How on earth do you extend yourself too far when you have a guaranteed stream? You have a guaranteed mountain of money. What did you do with it? What are you doing with it? Burning it? I'm at a loss. Did Google, when you spun out of Google, did they just kick you out of there? Are you like the morons they kicked out? They're like, get the hell out of here. These guys are going to sink us. The game barely, I mean, I feel like it's held together with Band-Aids and bubble gum. Pretty much all the time. You're like the Joe Biden of games. Gaffe after gaffe after gaffe after gaffe, but it's not funny. It's not funny at all. And when anybody has a complaint, a viable complaint, mind you, and they contact support, 99% of the time, all you receive in response is a copy and paste that a bot made with no grievance answered, no loss reimbursed, nothing changed. And I'm confused on that. We give you money which has value, and you give us nothing in regards to complaints. If I say I lost a remote raid pass because some jerk-offs on Campfire bailed on me with 2 seconds left and I couldn't bail on the lobby, and then I got unfortunately kicked in, the only person in a 5-star raid, I get copy and pasted an excuse with no reimbursement of the raid pass that cost me literally $2. And now this is where I become fed up. Because in the Vanity interview over the summer, where again, you had to come out and explain why you had to lay off a huge portion of your workforce, this time 25%. Oh, going forward, we extended ourselves too far during the COVID. What? During COVID, you invented remote raid passes. Before that, those didn't exist. So for COVID, you invented an additional income stream on top of the one you already have for the game. And it just happened to be the most wildly popular thing that you've ever done. So therefore, you should be doubly or triply swimming in a bin full of money like Scrooge McDuck. And now you're cutting 25% of the workforce, saying you have to scale back and focus. I know exactly what that means out of corporate speak. That means you have to focus on revenue creation out of your already existing popular games. So, i.e., making them a worse experience for any player that is financially minded at all. This season, the most mind-boggling occurrence, again, chimpanzees. There's a thing called charged TMs. And those are what you use to change your Pokemon's big move, or one of them. And the way it's set up is on a randomized rotation. So the Pokemon may have 10 moves at their disposal, but you can only have as many as 2, which you have to buy to get a second one. Now, here's where the craziness comes in. Like I said earlier, it's randomized. So if there's a specific move out of the 10 that you want or need to make this Pokemon viable to use, and you've spent hours upon hours upon hours upon hours of of walking around and gaining the candy and doing the thing. And why are you taking the charged TMs away? You used to be able to get them at various points in the game, different spots. Like if you won a certain amount of battles out of a set of 5, you had the very good chance of getting one. This season, you've dwindled that specific chance down to almost 0. And yet fast ones, the fast move TMs, so the other type of move each Pokemon has, they have fast and they have charged. They're everywhere, which is even more frustrating. If you do a route, here's 3 TMs, here's 3 fast TMs. Hoo-hoo-hoo. Win a raid, here's 2 fast TMs. The only place that I seem to be able to find a charged TM is when I complete a raid of 3 stars or above. And even then, it's not a given. Now, it took me about 2.5 minutes to create this specific file for all the Pokemon that I need charged TMs for. Either now or eventually. The number is now up to 80. I currently have 0. And like I said before, it's not like I just need 80. Because it's randomized. Even though I've made a suggestion to support more than once that it should not be randomized, if you want to eliminate all the frustration, set it up where it's, okay, so it goes, it's not randomized, maybe it's alphabetical. So you know exactly how many you'll have to use. You're not just sitting there, if you have 10 charged TMs and you want a specific move for one Pokemon, you're not there jumping back and forth every time you use one from a shitty move to 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 shitty move, and then you've spent 10 and not even got the move you want. And that's when you throw your phone. Should I send the bill to Niantic? Oh, wait, no, you're about ready to shut your doors. Because you can't manage capital? You have no idea how to code games? Obviously, someone is either burning the money, like this is the last waning years of the Empire of Spain, and you have a horribly handicapped, inbred Charles II on the throne there as the CEO, and he's just eating cash and lighting the rest on fire. And then when he poops out cash, he lights that on fire or makes some of the coders eat it. This game is horrendous. The only reason why it's survived hasn't been because of Niantic. It's because of the equity that the cards and Nintendo and the creators and the movies and the cartoons, all that equity that's been built up over 2 decades, you have thrown gas on and lit matches. And now you come out in the summer and say you had to cut 25% of your staff because you can't keep up. Well, I know why. You're all idiots. You people are morons. What was the name of that bank that went under? Was like the second or third biggest bank failure in the United States history. And they were sitting on all that cash because they're idiots. Oh, well, that's the tech industry. No, it's not. This is simple finance. It's called 2 + 2 = 4, not 2 + 2 = 9. I haven't even mentioned the fact that you had the gall to double the price of the remote raid passes out of nowhere. That was just free money. You doubled that cost, driving everybody away from the game. People were so pissed off. Then you had the balls, I don't know where you got them from, again using prior companies' genius as equity for yourself, so you're stealing equity again. Going on Twitter telling people that, making fun of everybody for not walking, for being lazy. That is not a customer service oriented response. You make it impossible to play the game. You're those companies that I'm assuming that create algorithms just because you can. Like with the back and forth, really hot argument on if the algorithm in the Go Battle League is rigged or not. Why can't you just completely randomize it? Why do you have to build an algorithm? Why is it 30 battles a day and every opponent that I face is run through your algorithm to make sure of what? To make sure I lose enough? You are the crown jewel example of not only what's wrong with San Francisco, what's wrong with Silicon Valley, what's wrong with today's culture of equality. Well, you have to write an algorithm to equal out the playing field. Even though you have no idea how to write algorithms, can't code your game right, you have bugs all over the place, and it crashes all the time. I'm not even going to talk about Campfire. Why you still have this contract is beyond me. Why Nintendo hasn't fired you is beyond me. Obviously, somebody at Google did the negotiating and then promptly slipped out the back door and left a bunch of chimpanzees to do the work of men. And it will only get worse. As per your CEO in Variety, with all of his corporate speak about how you need to basically swindle people out of money, kids. You need to swindle children out of more money to stay viable. Oh, well, you know, the space is crowded. No, you just suck. Because you have, if not the top three, it's top three, obviously, video game franchises in history in your lap, and you're giving viability excuses on why you're not blowing everybody else out of the water. Here's the best analogy I can come up with for the absolute and utter mess you have made of this, Niantic. If I had a monopoly on all the blood in the world, and you are a vampire with a bunch of vampire friends, and I gave you access to all the blood in the world in my blood bank, and I went on vacation for a week, and I said, here, go hog wild, be healthy. And I come back, and somehow in your diluted, ridiculous, Charles II inbred, narcissistic, Machiavellian, psychopathic, greedy-ass mind, you've come up with a way to dilute the blood to 10%. You've built some rickety old piece of shit, 6-year-old looking lemonade stand out by the road, and you have vampires, all your buddies, lined up down the road and around the block, and they're all pissed off. And in our first meeting after I've come back and witnessed this horror, you want to tell me that you've had to, I had to cut half the staff. And what staff? What are you talking about? Well, this isn't economically viable. Oh, this is market conditions and COVID and I gave you the golden goose. And you have meddled with it because you are a control freak, an authoritarian dictator who thinks they need to control the supply to be the genius, to bring the world of vampires blood. And all you've done is screw this up in such a neo-fascist, neoliberal, that's what you are. Niantic is Hillary Clinton. It's your bullshit, and everybody's up in arms and offended all the time, and everybody needs to be silenced. And anybody who says anything out of line or said something 15 years ago that, oh my God, might be offensive, they get canceled and basically cast off into no man's land where they wither away and die. And you think you've created a better paradise. It's pathetic. Take all your algorithms, take the monkey shit and smear it in the algorithms and throw it all out. Get rid of all your special algorithms. Get rid of all your control, which I know you won't be able to do because you're from San Francisco and you think you're smarter than everybody else, when we're all sitting here watching you go down in flames wonderfully. So continue to do what you're doing. It's really working for you.